Back with more Walking Dead. This is episode 14 of season 11. Very excited to see what's going to happen next, especially given the last episode, which for me I think was one of the strongest episodes so far this season. Loved what they had going on with the whole situation with this new group of people, upended by a scheme that Lance had planned with his little mate, little snaky mate. And you know, we've got Aaron and Gabriel were caught in the middle of that. And now, you know, Maggie, Elijah and Lydia are there as well. Then Negan was part of that group. And, it's all kicking off. And it kind of ended on a sort of cliffhanger-esque deal. So I'm hoping we are continuing with that story in this one. And it's not going to just switch to something else. Or if it does switch to something else, we also, you know, pick up with that. Because I was so invested in that story. And yeah, I'm very excited to see that hopefully be continued now. So yeah, I think it was such an incredibly strong episode, and yeah, I think with that momentum build now, given how great that all was, it would be weird to like shift the focus a bit. So I'm hoping we're gonna kind of carry on with that story. Only one way to find out, and that's to dive right into it. So yeah, let's just start the episode. Good, we're carrying on. I'm happy. I mean, sorry about all the dead people, but happy.
We've got you down at the east exit.
And so it begins.
Just really living up to that stereotype.
I liked it before. But when I'm around the riders, my heart rate actually goes down. Dixon's seen it. It's good stuff.
She wants to see what you can do outside the walls. Look, your sector's covered, so let's go. Come on.
Is it though?
Hey, it's Maggie.
Oh shit.
Let's put our shit back in our pants and zip up, shall we?
I need someone I trust to protect it.
It is funny, like, what starting again at a new community can do for like your reputation there, isn't it? He can be a completely different man.
This is a joke, right?
No, sweetie, it isn't. Hey, look, my bitch mother has cut off my line of credit, so I need to come up with creative ways to
Oh, right, yeah.
support my lifestyle. And you're gonna slime yourself up with guts, and then you're gonna walk through that swamp.
Ah, the old classic.
Get me my cash. Your little one, he just jumped 2 grades, right? And Coco, is she walking?
Oh, yeah, you don't threaten the kids.
I can make their life easier.
We do this and that's it.
Yeah, totally.
I don't believe that for a second.
What? Fresh.
Bodes well.
The money is in here, but I'm the only one that's left.
It's done this before.
Please,
Please don't leave me.
I was in debt.
And then one day a man showed up at my door and he said he could get me out of it. I have 2 kids.
Oh, God.
Oh,
Shady nonsense.
I left because that's what everyone needed, right?
Yes.
you're married?
It's great, right?
Oh, shit.
It fits. Maggie's still with you? Right, look. It's just,
Stop worrying.
How much does she know about what he used to be?
Sit and stay.
Oh, shit.
Sarge, found a truck on the perimeter. Kid hiding inside.
Oh, no, Herschel. Fuck. Oh, no. Oh, no. Negan wielding something to smash open a head? Oh, good. He can be like, that's how I killed your daddy. Oh, she's pregnant. Jeez.
Anything happens to you.
it'll have to happen to me first.
Yeah. He's different now.
And what he did. He told me.
I thought he might have.
Just to forget. Yes.
No. But I still get, like, why she may never forgive him.
My mom told me to stay away from him.
Bet she did. Oh.
My mom told me a bad man killed my dad. Whiskey wasn't it?
Ooh.
Get what I took away from you and your mom. There is nothing I can say or do that is gonna make that better. And I know you want to pull that trigger, and I don't blame you. Maybe I deserve to die for what I did to your dad, to your family. These people here, they don't.
Yeah. That's a conversation for another time, isn't it? Oh boy. Oh. Ugh. Any kind of even indirect mention of Glenn just gets me so emotional. Ooh. Jesus, I thought he'd electrocute himself then. Can you imagine? That's how Daryl went out. Oh, hi.
Safe. It's right there. Can you get into it?
Oh, I'm trying.
Nice that the money's been stored safely.
What is that?
Oh dear. Oh good. We are here. Phew. Which situation would we rather be in right now? Neither of them are good. Oh, hi.
How many more rounds we got?
Maybe 10.
No more walkers out there tonight.
Got up.
Look at this team up, though. Uh-oh. That's unfortunate. Oh dear. Nice. Great. Should have kept the armor on. Saved you the trouble. Who'd have guessed it? The secondary character died of all these main ones. This guy and his whiskey. Uh-oh. Drink more whiskey. Focus on the whiskey. Oh, dear. Well, no point being subtle if you're just going to whistle to get their attention.
In the Commonwealth for what? Some tenement warlord and all these thieving followers?
I like that he's put his mask on.
You're smarter than all that.
Ultimate badass time. Yeah! Oh, he's going off the roof.
Listen, we just need to talk things.
Yes! Bye, bitch! Oh! Oh dear. Nom, 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 nom. Delicious. And eaten by the people he killed. Wonderful. Yes! Dinner time! Deserved.
How many others did you send in before now?
Oh, 30, maybe 40. Hey, at least we're coming home with a shot.
He's tired of the bullshit too.
Where Alva's and Castle.
They didn't make it.
They tripped and fell on some bullets.
We did it! Hey, I am so glad that we're friends again.
We weren't friends in the first place.
Open range, do you copy?
No, he does not.
And the money? Did they get it?
Yeah.
Finally.
Of course he knew.
Everyone plays their part. If you can't or won't, it hurts everyone else.
You're trying to force a bigger part for yourself.
We can't let that happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe you get it.
She gets it alright. She gets that you gotta go.
It's nice to be able to talk to someone
She sees it all right. Oh, I hope she fucks you up, mate. I feel like he's suspicious in return, though.
In a few years, when you've grown up a bit, come find me. And I promise you, we will settle.
Take a couple of years so you can change your mind, please. And then we'll set this. It probably does sting knowing that Negan's going to have this new family of his own. Like a complete set parents, child, and they can't have that.
Can't go back to Commonwealth.
If Ian didn't steal the weapons, who did?
God. Is that Leah? It's Leah. Oh dear. Well, it was going to happen at some point. Okay, another excellent episode again. Shall we start with the whole situation with like Daryl and Rosita, that side of things first? I do enjoy seeing more aspects of just how corrupt the Commonwealth can be and how everyone is kind of, you know, the higher ups, I guess, are more often than not just out for themselves. You know, I think we've seen a lot of that with Lance. Sebastian's certainly that way as well, as we saw in this one with him trying to get money because he got cut off. And the way he kind of like worked out that he should probably get Daryl and Rosita, you know, if anyone's going to be able to do it, those two would, because he has seen them manage to take a lot of walkers out without using guns and stuff. That was kind of actually a clever, quite organic way of like him being like, oh, of course we should get them to do it. You know, that's more likely to happen. And in a similar vein to the last episode, you know, they have these characters have been sent off on this mission to do something, and then you realise that it has kind of been a setup all along, and the setup that Lance has been involved with. And you see there's more to it than meets the eye. And in this case, it's the fact that, you know, this isn't their first time that they've attempted this, and they've sent, you know, a good 30 people or so into their deaths prior to Daryl and Rosita. And Lance knew all about it, and he wanted to get in on the money as well, potentially, or he was at least aware that was going on. And yeah, that moment when he's like, oh, finally, you know, not really bothering to care that all those other people died, because, you know, he gave them the chance. He was the hero who gave them the second chance to kind of ease their debts or whatever, and if they died, they died. Whoopsie. So I like them kind of showing the deepening corruption behind that, and just how much Lance has kind of got going on behind the scenes, and how much he knows about that he doesn't let on. We'll be intrigued to see how much Pamela knows that he knows, and how much she's aware of as well, as like the highest up of the higher ups. So yeah, I enjoyed the kind of conspiracy and all of that kind of deal, and a cool kind of setup in a different location to kind of go on a bit of a heist, which is interesting. And then when we had poor old April there as well, I mean, you kind of knew, didn't you? Room for the walkers trying to get out. You knew something was going to go wrong because it's The Walking Dead, and you know if anyone's going to die, it's going to be the character we've literally just met and don't really know that much. So she drew the short straw in this, surviving all that time just to die on the way out. They tried, you know. I think it's very wholesome that Rosita gave her armour to wear, but didn't work out in the end. So whoopsie, another one bites the dust. But I like Mercer getting involved in all of that, and Carol, because, you know, Daryl had missed dinner, she got Mercer. I think that's interesting as well, that Carol went to Mercer above all. Like, Carol, I think she gets good instincts about people, I guess, and who she should and shouldn't trust. So she's decided and taken it upon herself to be like, you know, Mercer's alright. Mercer's going to help us out here. So I like that she likes Mercer as well. She kind of approves, and I think that's a good reflection of Mercer's character as well. And we've seen him kind of come round to the idea, and he's not blind to the fact that the Commonwealth has its flaws, and to experience another one in this one, to see April die firsthand and stuff like that, when they questioned the guards on the way back, and he found out just how many people had died for this one cause to get some money. I like that was just straw that broke the camel's back, and he just killed them. So he's just fed up with like the corruption as well, and it's cool to see like someone who is very deeply entwined in the Commonwealth, and he is a character that we met through this arc and has been there for some time. The fact that he's still one of the good ones and he does have a conscience and he's kind of siding with our group of people a lot more. I really like that direction. It's not like everyone in the Commonwealth just a lost cause and they're all out for themselves doing all this shady stuff. Him and his sister, it would seem, are two of the good ones. So I like that moment where he just like snapped and killed them, like, screw this. So he's just leaning more towards being on our side with things. And, if there's going to be a big fight or big war about this, I think I'd want Mercer on my side. That is one scary man. If anyone is bold enough to wear armour that orange and somehow he looks cool in it, that's someone I want on my team. So I'm really liking his character more and more and more. Ever since they kind of started pairing him with Princess, you kind of saw some different sides to him. And you see that in the softer side, and the fact that he has a sister he's looking out for as well. And now this, it's cool to see, like, he's not as he may have first appeared when he just barely said a word and he was quite intimidating and just questioning everyone. When we first met him was it the bonus episodes we first met him, or the start of this season? So just slowly unpack his character and see, like, he's actually quite a good guy. I've really enjoyed that, and I'm excited to see where his relationships with everyone might go and lead, and how he might take a stand in some kind of rebellion or revolution against the higher ups of the Commonwealth. If that's what they're building towards, they're showing more and more. They're leaning into Lance being like the villain, I think, more so than Pamela at the moment. And I don't know if that's like an end goal thing, if that's just something that part 2 of the season's going to do. We only have 2 episodes left of it now, so we'll see. But yeah, I really enjoyed everything with that. And just something this episode really did well, I think, was the characters they paired up and the groups of characters we got. That team of Daryl, Rosita, Carol, and Mercer, like, holy shit, that's one hell of a team. I really enjoyed that pairing and that interaction that came with that. And I think Daryl and Rosita, they're just a duo that can get shit done. We've seen that quite a few times. So I like that they've kind of paired them as, like, they're sort of police officers in the Commonwealth World Order. Just seeing them, like, have an office life and he's eating donuts and stuff like that. It's very bizarre to see it, but it's cool to see how, like, far the show's evolved, as I talked about before. And then, yeah, just kind of what they discovered through all of that. The trials and tribulations of alarms going off and lights going off and all of that was really cool. So I liked that little side story for them, and just further, showing us that Commonwealth isn't really as great as it appears to be. So we've got something to do about that, I suppose, considering what we've got. 10 episodes left of The Walking Dead now. 10, that's it. That's insane. So we've got, 10 episodes or so to kind of really escalate this even further and hopefully resolve it, unless the show just ends with them all dying. I don't know. That would be a very depressing ending after 11 years, but it's The Walking Dead. So yeah, I liked all that side story quite a bit. Sebastian needs to die a very horrible, painful death, because my god, what an entitled brat. He's like, oh, my friend, his father or something was the president. He's just one of those types that I think everyone's going to have their different favourite characters, their different least favourite characters. And there's going to be a lot of debate about, who's the best character, who's the best survivor, is Negan a good man, is he not? Blah, 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 blah. All of those debates are going on. I'd like to think we all collectively agree that Sebastian's a little shit who needs to die horribly. So, sometimes moments like that will bring peace to the fandom debates and the wars. But yeah, very slimy. The actor does such a great job with it, though, because you just want to punch him in the face. He can just stand there and you want to punch him in the face. So I do like the presence he kind of brings. We've seen that type of character a lot before in God knows how many shows and movies and stuff, but the actor does a great job with that. So that was all very well and good. And then the other side of things, continuing on from the really great story I loved in the last episode, I'm glad we got more of that and a kind of a resolution to it. Yeah, I'm not mad about what happened to Carlson and he got his what for. I liked the irony, the poetic justice, I guess, of him falling off the roof as he'd pushed people off, and he'd pointed the gun at Aaron, but you know, it was empty in the last episode, and now Aaron was pointing a gun at him, but there were bullets in it, so he could fall off. And then he was that like smack on the ground. Like in the last episode, they kind of avoided showing the actual moment of impact with any of them that had been thrown off. So I wasn't expecting them to do it there. So when they actually did show him hit the ground, it's like, Jesus Christ. I mean, realistically, he probably would have just exploded all over the place, and he wouldn't have been alive to be eaten alive. But it's just morbidly good, isn't it? It's a weird thing to be like, oh, I loved the bit where that guy was eaten alive. That was great. You just feel kind of numb to those moments at this point. And you're like, what kind of show is this where we're actively rooting for this guy to get eaten alive, and such awful, horrible way to go. But he deserved it. So there we go. I think the actor did a brilliant job. Just in these 2 episodes that we've gotten with that character, kind of, you know, giving us a more kind of layered performance, particularly in the last episode. He didn't get as much to do in this one. But when we saw, you know, he was kind of reluctantly drawn into this by Lance, and he was like, I actually like going out and giving people hope and bringing them into the community. But because he had that dark side to his past as well, where he'd done some shady shit, he got brought into that again here. But he seemed to fall back into the role fairly easily. Just enough to see like, well, he deserved that, didn't he? So yeah, brutal way to go, but you know, I'm glad he's kind of out of the picture. And what he talked about in the last episode was, again, kind of brought back in a way, and he was like, you know, I'm doing what I'm doing because this is how we make the world a better place, by getting rid of, you know, the nasty people. And then the world's probably a little bit better now that he's out of it in this one. So I like how they kind of did the, you know, the irony and the poetic justice of how he bowed out, and I like that Aaron was the one to get him. So that was cool. You know, when Aaron's just like, he won't even say a word, doesn't want to hear anyone out, just boom, bap 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 with the gun, and he's off. That's it. You remember, like, he was trying to, in the bonus episode last season with him and Gabriel, and they had, you know, T-1000, and he was trying to talk the T-1000 down, just like kind of convince him, like, put the gun down, everything's going to be alright. And he does that, and then Gabriel just comes and whacks him anyway and kills him. And Aaron's like really stunned by that, you know, just not even talking things out. Gabriel's just like, whoom. And now Aaron kind of did a very similar thing here. He's like, not even going to hear you out, Carlson. I know what you're about. Boom, you're gone. You're done. So I kind of like that. Just that shows how far Carlson kind of pushed Aaron's limits and everything. And don't lie to Aaron, I think, is the kind of message from this. So I thought that was really cool, and some good kind of little bits of action in this one as well, them sneaking around to the place. But what really surprised me with this one, really, I think more so the action sequences came from everything with Daryl, Rosita, and that lot. And this one felt like a more emotional kind of deal, because the actual like conclusion, like stopping all the soldiers and killing Carson and stuff, you know, that happened fairly quickly in the end. What they really focused on instead was like the emotional beats of the story, with having Herschel be around, and, you know, Negan properly facing up to what he did to Glenn and Abraham all those years ago, many moons ago. You know, in terms of like the actual lore of the show and the timeline of the show, you know, it was even longer ago for the characters than it was for us as the audience. You know, season 7 was, I mean, it would have been like 5-6 years ago now that aired, when he killed Glenn and Abraham. But for them, it's, you know, well, they had a 6-year time jump, so it's probably been like good 7-8 years for them, which is kind of nuts. But I really like that they just tackled that head on. I wasn't expecting like them to do that, at least not yet. The fact that Herschel was just a stowaway, he probably got fed up of Maggie always going away. She was like, you know what, I'm just gonna sneak in and have a laugh. But it had to happen at some point that he was going to find out that Negan was the one who killed Glenn. And just the twist of the knife, the fact that Negan has kind of found a new life for himself with these people. You know, he's married Annie, I think her name was, who I really like. I think she's quite cool. I'm hoping we learn a lot more about her. You know, she's pregnant. He's got a kid on the way. So he has this like whole complete family life ahead of him. Whereas he took that away from Maggie and Herschel, because, you know, they can't get Glenn back. Glenn never got to meet his kid. Maggie had to just stand there while pregnant with Herschel and watch Glenn die, and they can never have that complete family life with the three of them, whereas Negan gets to have that. I think, you know, that's going to sting a bit for Maggie, but I like that they had Annie there being like, well, we've all done shit in our past, you know, we've all done things that we're going to regret, and he does regret it, and Negan has changed. And I get that Maggie may always be blinded to that, and I don't blame her one bit. I said before, if this was a real life situation, if these characters were real, I'd never forgive Negan. I'd be like, fuck that guy, kill him. But as an audience, we can enjoy his character because he has some really funny lines, and we can visibly see with a more balanced viewpoint that he has changed, whereas Maggie's always going to be blinded by those emotions of the night where she was watching her husband be killed while she was pregnant with his kid, and everything that he's taken away from her. And I like that Negan completely owns up to that. And he's like, I was a bad person then. He has changed. And even though Maggie may not ever be able to see it, I don't blame her for not being able to see it, but we can see it as the audience. And I'm saying that as Negan killed my favourite character. Glenn will always be my favourite character, probably in any Walking Dead show. But you can still see that change in him, and I like to think Glenn would be willing to see that there's change in people as well. So I really like that they really focus on that, and you saw how emotional Negan got at that prospect, and like having to directly confront that, and he knows what he did was wrong, and he knows that he probably will never be able to make up for it, and maybe he does deserve to just die for what he did all those years ago and what he took from Herschel and Maggie, and kind of a lot of people really. But that was then. This is now. He is a very different man. I like that they're not shying away from that, and they've done a lot of tackling head on like the Maggie Negan conflict in this season, particularly like the first part of the season. But he's like, what, we all need for me to just step away, and now he's done that and found a life for himself. But then he's getting dragged back into this whole mess now, and that's no one's fault particularly. It's just how things have worked out. And then what he's kind of saying to Herschel, come back in a few years, grow up a bit, and then we will sort it out. Come and find me in a few years. Probably because he hopes he could be talked down from maybe just wanting to outright kill him from that point on. And also, he wants a few years to spend time with his new family, I guess, and the kid on his way and his wife. Even though he took that away from Maggie and Herschel, they never got to have those few years. But, Herschel maybe being the one to act on what Negan did to his dad, that's not something for him to do when he is that young. He probably in years to come, he would regret if he pulled that trigger, because a lot more people would have gotten killed if he had. And that would be a lot to weigh down on a kid that young. But I loved that Negan was like, yeah, I'm the one who killed your dad. And I like that Herschel kind of worked that out by him saying that he was a bad man and everything. That was really cool. So I'm glad that that's kind of out in the open now, and maybe that will get addressed a bit further on down the line. Maybe that's it. But, they showed that Negan is a completely different person now. He's changed a lot from the man we met at the end of season 6. Even if he still likes talking about putting your shit in pants on, that will seemingly never change, but some things never change, do they? But a lot of other aspects of his character have, and I like that they can kind of use this whole story with Herschel to really showcase that. So yeah, that was really great, and I did very much like what they did with that. And in a very unexpected way, you feel like there's no place for little Herschel in this story and what was going on right there, but they made it work, and I like that there was kind of an emotional crux to, an emotional twist to the tale that they were already telling with this like mini arc with these 2 episodes and that storyline. So yeah, I loved everything with that, very emotional. And yeah, I'm sure a lot of people probably enjoyed seeing Negan kind of that choked up about what he did, because it's just emotional catharsis for the audience as well. There's been a lot of moments where Negan, I think a lot of it was him putting on the bravado, and even though he really is torn up about what he did, and he has been for a long time, he doesn't want to show that weakness to people, so he'll just like do all his smug little walk, and the end of the Here's Negan episode, he's just like smiling at Maggie, and he was like, I'm gonna stick around actually. And I think a lot of that was all bravado. So to see him just openly be like, what, screw it, I feel awful about what I did, and I have changed since then. It's good development from moments like that, which have frustrated me in the past. So it's cool that he just embraces that now. It probably helps, having found a new life for himself, knowing he's got a kid on the way. That's probably made him really reevaluate things, and he kind of realizes what he owes Herschel, what he owes Maggie, that kind of just open honesty about it. So yeah, that was really well done. Very well acted by Jeffrey Dean Morgan as well, as he always is. I mean, you know. So yeah, I loved everything with that storyline as well. And then another twist of the tale right at the end, because while it's all been resolved, all is said and done, I mean, Lance is going to be a bit pissed when he finds out what's happened to his friend, and I'm sure that's going to cause even more conflicts. And I really like the scene with him and Carol as well near the end, where she just kind of plays along with his ideals, but she kind of knows he ain't shit. And I don't know if he's maybe suspicious of her in return, but there's going to be some building conflict there once Lance kind of realises what's gone down. But not just that, you know, it turns out that Leah was the one who kind of kickstarted the whole conflict by stealing the weapons in the first place. It was actually her who did that. We knew she was going to be brought back in at some point, you know. We've killed off all the Reapers and stuff, but when Dow let her go, I mean, of course she was going to come back at some point. So I like that they brought her back into the story at this point, and we're going to see how that unfolds and what role she can play in things. I'm not quite sure where she's going to fit in, but I'm guessing she's a bit pissed off with the situation at hand. And yeah, we'll see what happens with that, and maybe catch up with her a bit, see what she's been up to since, I think episode 9 was the last time we saw her. I think it was the mid-season premiere. So yeah, that's cool to kind of get some answers about that. Not that the characters got these answers, but the audience did. And you know, as we kind of get to the end of this second part, knowing there's only one more part of the season to go, then that's it. I like that things are really escalating and some stories are crossing over and wrapping up a bit. You know, the emotional catharsis of the whole Negan Herschel thing with Leah coming back into the fold. You know, she's kind of a loose cannon for a while. So yeah, we'll see where that all goes and what happens with it. But another fantastic episode. I really loved it. Great kind of end to like a 2-episode arc with the whole thing with Negan's new group, and some emotional kind of conclusions to that story as well, and some very satisfying moments with Carlson getting his what for. And alongside that, I liked the Daryl Rosita little heist mission for them, just continuing the, you know, how corrupt the Commonwealth can be at times, and Mercer just being done with that new ally for sure with him. So yeah, we'll see how things continue to go from here. But I love this episode. These last 2 have been incredibly strong. So hopefully the next 2 that end off this second part of the season will also be. But yeah, think things are really kind of getting very interesting now with the Commonwealth stuff in particular. So I'm more than willing to see where they go with all this. And yeah, that is going to be everything for now. Fantastic episode yet again. Can't wait to see what they're going to do with the next 2 to wrap up this second part of the season. 10 episodes left of The Walking Dead. Ever. Madness. And actually, as I'm recording this, I think it's the first episode I've recorded since they wrapped. So they've officially wrapped. So congrats, cast and crew. Can't wait to see what you wrapped and what you filmed today in, 10 episodes time. But anyway, that is going to be everything for now. So until my next reaction, thanks for watching.